We are live, about to talk a lot of Bills, but before we do that, Stevie, I always like for the listeners to get to know you a little bit better. Outside of Buffalo, what was your favorite NFL venue that you played in?
You know what? Actually, in New England was very fun. Those fans was rowdy. They say whatever they want to you, and at the time they was the dynasty. So their team was backing it up. So you got everything from those fans, man. You ain't this, you ain't that. But they was real though, because when I came back with things with them, they kept it honest. Like, hey man, it's good entertainment. Let's keep it going. I really enjoyed playing out there in New England. Those fans was rowdy and competitive, and that's what it's about.
And we're seeing that already. Like, this is a rivalry again, Bills Pats. And I think that's why Bills fans are freaking out a little bit, because the Pats sit currently at 9-2, and they will be playing at that venue again in a couple of weeks. So maybe we got to get you out there to be crowd control, so that when their fans start talking, we got someone to give it back.
Yeah, nah, it ain't time for that. They ain't worried about that. It's just about the players speaking on the field. That's the main thing. Everything on the outside is fun and entertainment, and that's what we're here for, to provide that for the mafia and the fan bases.
And that's what we're about to do right now. Happy a lot of you are joining us. Shane, it's that time. Hit it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Bill's Banter with Stevie Johnson and Michael F. Florio.
Fitzpatrick fires. Oh, caught! Steve Johnson! Touchdown, Buffalo! Why so serious?
The sickest Buffalo Bills podcast.
Allen will run it himself. He pumps. Got some daylight. Hurdles to the end zone.
It's gonna be sick.
Guru, what up though? Oh, we already got thoughts from the community already on Buckets.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, hang on. Oh, damn. Sorry, y'all. The community was so loud I had to put my noise canceling headphones on. After last week, man. Woo.
What's the thoughts? What's the talk on the community?
Hostility, questions, concerns, comments, you name it, they got it all. The socials were blowing up this week across all Bills Mafia. And I think, Florio, you kind of mentioned it. It was a perfect storm about what happened last week. Not doing anything at the trade deadline, injuries, then going in to play a division rival, and then getting just smoked. It brought a lot of attention and a lot of vitriol out to the Twitterverse there and across the socials. People are concerned. How y'all fellas doing?
I'm feeling good though. Guru, I know you got a lot too. Just like Buckets was saying, the community has spoken. And you were saying a lot of things like Bucket said. The trade deadline was big, not adding weapons. But I mean, to battle that, we did pick up pieces though. We picked up some solid pieces. It just wasn't time. Is that what's concerning for people, or did you guys still want an even bigger splash?
I personally wanted a bigger splash, but I do think it's a perfect storm, right? It's everything Bucket said. It was not making the deadline move. Then you lose to the Dolphins. The Patriots win a game that I think many Bills fans were expecting them to lose, heading down to Tampa. And to pour salt on the wound, right? Like, we're going to spend a lot of time talking receivers and play calling and stuff today. Bills fans had to watch both Steph Diggs and Mac Hollins go off on Thursday Night Football. So I think that poured a little bit of salt onto the wound. But look, big get right opportunity this weekend. I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of happy that the show's on Friday this week, because if we did it on like Monday, my reactions would have been a lot stronger. But now it's Friday. We're a few days removed, and I'm feeling a little bit more positive.
Yeah, that's good though. I'm happy I got you at this point, because I felt the energy through your social media, and I was like, okay, we got our session later on in the week. I know he'll be more chill. We got more perspectives, and then we'll be more on to the next team, like the Buccaneers, and speaking of the Buccaneers, they got a receiver out there, and a lot of people talking big about him, but it's like, he's getting a lot of opportunities. You know, when you get all those reps and opportunities, you get to show more. You know, last week he didn't show as much. You know, when he was being clamped up by the Patriots defenders. You know, and that's only one game, but he's still getting fed. We got to feed our guys so that we can, have more confidence in them going into Sunday's games.
So do you guys want to talk Dolphins loss first, or what? How do you guys want to start this?
Yeah, let's talk the Dolphins loss. Let's hear what your perspective is in the community, and then I'll just get mine right now. I feel like the Dolphins took it as far as forced turnovers. They forced the turnovers. It's not like the Buffalo Bills was literally missing passes, wide open. I've done that before. It's like, dang, he just missed wide open. It wasn't like that. The Bills was making positive plays, but there was one playmaker on the Dolphins that ripped the ball out 2 times, on positive plays. So, you just got to give credit where it's due. And at that point, they took the life out of the team and without the tackles. So that was my thing on the loss. What's yours, Drew?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think if the Bills don't turn the ball over and have those 2 fumbles, I think the conversation and the vitriol is completely changed. We were moving the ball downfield. We were controlling possessions. We were being methodical. Without those huge Achane runs and scores, it's a completely different game. And then the mindset's a completely different one for the whole week. So it really did take the air right out of the ball in the stadium there for all momentum there. And I think that was a huge shift in the entire mindset of the team. The first one you can get over, you wipe it off and then go forward. The second one, it was like, what are we doing? And then, compounding big runs and gashes, which going forward, I think James Cook can beat this Tampa Bay defense. They got gashed last week too. So hopefully we're the ones with the knives out carving them up, and I hope Cook is cooking. So I think the team has to learn from this loss, use that negative energy from the entire fan base, and use it to propel themselves forward. Because the question I have is, it might be a little early to say this, but is this a must-win game? Like, going forward, is this a must-win game?
Every game should be must-win, though.
I agree.
Yeah. Like the community put emphasis on is this must-win. It's not every game you're supposed to win, because if you don't, then you will get talked about. So every game essentially is a must-win game. So I want to kind of break that. And then also, like, is it really negative, feedback? I've been seeing a lot. There's a lot of nothing great, nothing perfect, but a lot of the feedback on the internet is really constructive.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. Some of it, like even all the minds isn't 100%, because I'm not exactly in the room with those guys. No. I'm calling them out on hot reads that they may not even be teaching in there. So we all don't know everything, but I also don't want to. I just want to be sensitive on that too. Like, I don't even want people to think they're being negative. We got to get even our pros that see those messages destigmatized with, they just being negative and blah blah blah. No, look at what's going on. Don't play
right.
when you're not going to go talk to your quarterback on the sideline, and the outside can see that. You got the best player in the league, and you should, like, that's like having the most beloved player in the world, but alone, how? It's communication. So it's all on the players to just break those shells and not think so negatively.
I do think so, like, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys felt this way as well. Even at like 13-0 at halftime, I was like, the Bills are gonna win this game. And then the extra turnovers and what to me the backbreaker was the interception on the Knox pass, but I think that was more miscommunication than anything.
Right.
But one thing I did want to highlight, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on as well. It feels like when things go the Bills' way, right? When they're playing from ahead, when they can rely on running the ball and play action and not having to worry about the opponent just trying to run the ball because they are in catch-up mode and having to throw the ball more. The Bills can beat anyone when they have that formula in front of them. Where I worry, and it feels crazy to say this because we have Josh Allen, but it feels to me like when the Bills fall behind, they are not built to come back for two reasons. One, they struggle passing the ball, and we're going to talk a lot about that today, and they struggle with these chunk plays. But even more than that, they struggle against the run on defense. So the opponent then could run the ball, chew the clock, and if you have someone like Achane, eventually break through and hit these home runs. So I still believe that when the Bills play their best game, they could beat anyone in the league. But I think more than in past years, there's room for error. Where like in past years, they would fall behind 2 scores and I'd be like, it's okay. Josh will bring them back. I don't feel as confident in that this season.
All right. So when was the last time that the Bills really got blew out? You feel me?
Well, Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's like they can win when they're not playing their best or the greatest football. You know, it's just about the players taking over, and it was a lot of different situations going on back then. It's like we're in a hunt for MVP. You know, I'm competing against this other team. You know, I have this player telling me this and that. You know, so it's like a different feeling, a different vibe. You know, and right now we don't have any of that right now. Josh don't have no competition for MVP. I don't think it matters because he got his already. He don't have no other player in his ear telling him this and that to command this and that. It's just, hey, whatever you want to do. And right now, Josh is just doing whatever the coaches in the play callers are telling him to do. And Josh is so good, he's been making it work for 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 times, basically. You got to go back 9 games to see another game where Josh probably got blown out. You feel me?
Yeah, but it does, because this is twice this year. Like, I know they came back against the Ravens. I think that has to say a lot about the Ravens defense. But like the Falcons,
it was big energy. You know, you don't want to get beat at home.
Yeah.
So Josh,
opening night,
he was unscripted. He was getting the ball out. You seen Keon involved more than ever. Shout out to our chat, our live chat right now. JG been locking in, and I saw JG say shout out to Mac Hollins and Diggs, seeing them, and he also added Elijah Moore. Why do we have Elijah? Something like that. And it's like, you know, we don't want to. Okay, here it is. Thank you, producer. Sure wish we had Mac Hollins. Instead, we have check notes Elijah Moore. Now, it's not a shot at Elijah Moore, but I want to open that up to, like, we shouldn't even say, oh, but we have Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore was open plenty of times. Samuel was open plenty of times. They're not getting the reps and the targets that Emeka Ibuka is getting as a rookie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we cannot throw a name out there in that situation. But, you know, I understand what JG is saying. And, you know, I want to attack everything, you know. I'm going to be equal with it all.
No, yeah, I don't think we should be throwing Elijah Moore under the bus. I'm more talking the whole, because like the Atlanta game, the Dolphins game, 2 games that the Bills had a long they had opportunities in both to come. Like the Falcons game, they had numerous chances to tie it up or make it close, and both of those games, I'm sitting here as someone who's watched every snap in Josh Allen's career, like, all right, we're gonna get this magic now. Like, we're gonna, and then it doesn't happen. Maybe it's gonna happen later in the year, and I'm never gonna rule that out because I still believe this team has a lot of talent. But when it does, seeing them lose to inferior teams and not be able to like scratch and claw their way into it, it has me a little bit concerned.
Yeah, in the past, Josh had an ability to go to a certain person. You know, it doesn't have to have the same relationship, but you need to have another dog out there, whether you can create that dog within the team or that dog is already there and he's getting at you about something, you know. And it can even be the great friendship that, well, Kincaid's injured now. He's got that friendship with Knox. Knox can still be the guy to say, hey, look at me here, but Knox is just doing whatever Josh tell him. It's what I'm seeing on the outside, you know.
Yeah.
And then so that's what leads me to Gabe Davis when I spoke on
Yep.
past shows. Like, you got the most rapport with the guy. You know, you've seen what your ace in Stephon Diggs did to get these opportunities that he got. You know, it's not time for you to come in here and be super laxed and chill and like, yeah, you know, we collected all these numbers together. Like, nah, man, I'm gonna be the difference. Put yourself out there, and if it don't work, it don't work. But you stepped out there and tried to make a name. You know, on the sideline, I'm so looking forward to this Sunday because I want to see what type of energy they bring. Gabe brings. You know, he's had the most success with these guys, so you know we're looking at him now. You know, we're looking at him.
So I have two questions I want to throw at both of you guys. We'll start with the receivers though. I think that's the bigger talking point right now. So the Bills have a lot of options this week because Khalil Shakir dealing with ankle and rib injury, but McDermott today came out and said he has a good chance of playing this weekend. Keon Coleman, obviously. Josh Palmer has been a full participant in practice this week.
Yep.
He looks like he is ready. Elijah Moore, Gabe Davis is getting a lot of buzz right now from beat writers and stuff. Then there's Shavers. There's Mecole Hardman, who has a dope handshake already with Josh Allen. And the Bills' social media is pushing that out there. Then there's Curtis Samuel. So that's 8 different names right there. Obviously, they can't have 8 active on Sunday. Who do you got? They've been going 5 active. I guess 6 is possible if they want to make Hardman a returner. Who do you guys think is their best combination of receivers moving forward?
You want to start this, Drew?
Yeah, I think Shakir, if he plays, will always be our extension of the run game. You know, lateral passes, quick outs, you know, run after catch, yards after catch. I think Keon, after he got that monkey off his back, getting that touchdown last week, you know, I think he could progress. Shavers, I think he's had some balls this year that have been really good. He's been burning people, and then Josh Palmer, of course, if he's back, let's go. As far as Gabe Davis and Mecole, I'm not 100% sure who will be the practice squad, you know, bring up. I think based on what I've heard, just like you, I think it's going to be Gabe this week. Possibly get Mecole more time to get, you know, reps in and before game time. So I think those are the main guys. I just think Josh needs to play free. I think he needs to get out of his own head and just don't chase demons out there. I think he just needs to go out and play his style of ball. Stop worrying about potentially turning the ball over. He's only got 5 interceptions this year. Yeah, he had the fumble, but you know, those happen. I think he just needs to go out, play free, see what trust what his eyes are telling him, and move to the fast read and have his guys get open.
Yeah. What you thinking, Guru?
So my thinking, I think there's a big 3 that will always be active in Shakir, Coleman, and Palmer as long as they are healthy. Look, you guys might remember going back to August and stuff. I was on the Shaver side of things. He has a 5% target share. Like, he's just not doing anything right now, in my opinion, to warrant still being out there. I think there's long-term potential, but I would try to mix that up right now with Gabe Davis.
That's my thought too. Yeah.
And then no disrespect to Curtis Samuel. He has the same issue as Shavers. He's gotten opportunities to be out there this year, but we have not felt his presence at all. So I think Elijah Moore should be active over him. He's done more. And I know Samuel is paid more, but I think we've reached the point of the year where production on the field speaks louder than contracts. I'm also cool with them going 6 deep at wide receiver, making Hardman the lead returner, and just giving him some opportunities downfield because he has the speed to win out wide and downfield. So maybe it's not a splash move, but I think if you mix up the usage a little bit, and Stevie, we're going to talk a lot about play calling today because no one has been on this before you. Like, way back early in September, when I was like, they should make a big move, you were like, it doesn't matter who they get. They're not drawing it up right. So I definitely want to hear your take on this, but I do think getting Gabe in there and maybe Mecole in there a little bit more could help open things up for this passing attack.
Yep. So, I'm with you guys on that. Khalil having Palmer playing, and then I'm going to have Keon playing. I got Gabe in there, and then I'm going to have Mecole. You know, you got to put Mecole in there. And then if we were to go 6, I do like what Samuel has shown. He's been presentable for his quarterback. He just hasn't gotten the opportunities again. But what I've heard more in the media is Josh talking more about Elijah Moore and what he's been doing as far as blocking for others, and when Josh has openly admitted that he's missed more. So I think having him out there is a presence for Josh. And, you know, that's kind of flipped my script of when I was saying, talking with you earlier about, you know, it don't matter who we pick up because, you know, it's got to be drawn out. Now at this point, it's being drawn out, you know, it's being drawn up, but now it's on the player to scramble the pieces and, you know, put the pieces where it need to be. And when I say pieces, that's any of those players, because if you think about it, those are all talented players that we just named. Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, give them opportunities. Gabe Davis, we've seen what he's done. Mecole Hardman, I mean, 3 rings. Come on. Palmer, we know that he's been around the tutelage of legit space creators and Keenan Allen, and, you know, that's multiple years under there. Elijah Moore's done it with multiple teams. Samuel, multiple teams. So our pass catchers are not bad. We have a freaking versatile group, and our play caller isn't bad either. He can dial it up. The only problem I'm having is too controlling, is what I'm thinking, because I've never seen an audible as opposed to a check. You know, with the automatic, that's, you go to the huddle with 2 plays anyway, you know, off top, and then you go, and then are you able to utilize those 2 plays, read the defense, and then say, okay, with this person, I want to try to get this scheme up. And that side, you guys will stay on whatever I give you. Are we doing that? I haven't seen a lot of that. And you know, you brought up the Atlanta Falcons game. All I seen was a great script being laid out, but there's no adjustments off of it. You know, like if those guys was playing press coverage early and we couldn't get deep, okay, now you adjust. You know, okay, now we go fake out, we going deep, and we giving you hitches, we giving you rub routes underneath, drags. And I didn't see none of that audibles. It's there to be audible. So that's why I put it all in our MVP's hands. You know, he's got to take the reins.
To your point, I don't think Brady is a bad OC. I think right now the Bills' offense has become a little bit too stagnant, a little bit too predictable. It was cover 1, and Stevie, I know those are your guys as well. They put it out there this week. The Bills are last in first down pass percentage this season. They're last in neutral game pass percentage. So, like, it's very and this is just as someone watching, right? Like, every time I'm watching the Bills, I'm like, all right, first down run. If it's good, things will go well. They'll move the chains. But once they stall out on first down, then they have the heaviest pass percentage on second down. Like, you got to mix it up a little bit more. And to your point, Stevie, you got to let your MVP operate that offense, right? Like, I'm not saying that he should be calling every single play,
right?
But he should have the capabilities. If his eyes don't like what he is seeing on the field, he should be able to change it to whatever he wants. And it sounds like all 3 of us are in agreement. Josh just doesn't look fully comfortable so far.
No.
This season.
Yeah. I mean, to your point right there, Guru, first down, if it don't work, then they get used second down, like, oh, I need a big play. Like, don't panic. Just take the little one again, and then that'll be successful. The team is good enough to have one bad play and then bounce back with 2 good ones or 2 mediocre ones to set you up for another mediocre that'll get you a first down. And who knows what'll happen from there.
This is my personal preference, and it drives me crazy. But, like, you could have like an 8-yard run on first down, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, something like that. Why don't you take a shot downfield? Like, you have Cook and Josh. You could get that yard or two on 3rd or 4th down. Like, I hate that they're always just trying to move the chains when I'm like, when you're in that situation of 2nd and short, to me, play action with Cook. Let Allen use his arm, his legs, whatever. Like we haven't seen, in my opinion, a ton of what has made Josh great in the past this year. Like, and Stevie, I know you've talked about it a lot this week. They're trying to make him a game manager, which isn't always a bad thing, but you also sometimes need to let a unicorn be a unicorn.
Right. Yep. That'll essentially become a manager. You can't really, hey, now is the time to manage. That's, come on now, that's too tedious, brother. Just tell him what the plays is and give him the freedom to adjust whatever he wants to. I'm assuming the community got the same visions, Buckets. What do you see from that side?
Yeah, they just want Josh to be Josh, do the things that he's doing, trust his eyes, use his legs when he has to, but, trust his arm too. Like, he's got a cannon out there. He can fire it into any window from any range, and he can drop it in a bucket from anywhere on the field. So he's got all the tangibles. He's got the speed. Like I said, he's a unicorn. I think everyone wants him to just go back to the way that he's been playing and stop being so contained. And I know a lot of the, community has been talking about no separation and, nothing, no one getting open and doing that. But it's Josh has got to trust himself and just be the special player that he is and just run free. But
I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I felt like last year was because at one point in his career, Josh was too much big play hunting and always trying to make the special play. Last year felt like the right medium of, like, he's not forcing it, but when he has to, this year it feels like they've dialed him back way too much now.
And you've seen in games where the needed urgency is there and you got to go quick and you got to get a score. Just 2 games ago, he went 87 yards in 5 plays, bang, 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 and we looked as good as we've looked all season. So,
that's one of the that'd be kind of trippy because it's like he's not having bad statistical games.
No,
it's just, we see more, and if we can see it from the outside, he's got to feel it, and he's a stand-up guy because Josh isn't throwing anybody under the bus. But again, you don't even have to think about it as throwing people under the bus. It's just putting that ultimate accountability on players. And I always utilize the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning because those was the guys that I saw during my time as, like, man, they out there calling and seem like what they want, and then you get more closer to those huddles and those players that surround them, and you like, oh yeah, well, we'll go into the huddle with 1, 2, 3 plays, and Tom will call whatever he wants to that X receiver, but he's gonna make sure we get it out there. He's gonna make sure he hit those flats, make you look downfield, and hit those flats early so that it can, it was just little conversations that we'd have.
Yeah.
And and I just feel like that's where we are with Josh Allen, but I'm not seeing those step into the line and audible check, Peyton Manning type things. And I think it's something that's easy, again, because of the versatility of the athletes we have and the comfortability that you have with a player like Gabe Davis, So we'll see if we can make it happen against the Buccaneers, coming into Orchard Park.
Hey, fellas, real quick, before I get out of here, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Guru.
No.
I got to head out here in just a second. But I know, as you call it, spooky season's now over, and it's now thankful season. But I don't know. Have y'all looked behind you? Look behind you real quick. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? That's me coming in fantasy, and I'm coming for y'all spots. This week, I got Florio, and it's a coin flip right now. It's a 0.3. But if I win, I'm in the playoff spots. And Stevie, I want to start my 3-part apology by saying, no, I don't, because I think I broke you when I beat you about 5 weeks ago. Man. I don't know what happened, dog. You've been on this slide. It's called Chutes and Ladders, man. You got to find the ladder.
Get him.
You slides right now, dude.
I blame you. You started my 5-game losing streak, man.
I broke you, brother.
Stevie, you
done,
feel like
but
you're in New England again with all this talking?
it sounded like a Patriot fan. I'm gonna have to get my musket out on you.
I got the bill on my heart, brother.
Hey, look, it might be close, but I am projected to win by .03 this week, so we'll see.
0.03. Yep. Hey, best of luck to you in the thing. And just like I said, Stevie, I will be the first one to congratulate you if you beat me, but I expect you to be the first one to congratulate you come Tuesday morning, because that'll be my victory. And then when we see the rankings, I'll be in the playoff spot and y'all will be down in the bottom. In the hunt, as they say.
In the hunt. Hey, I love it. Hey, Buckets, handle biz, have fun, and repeat, my brother.
Y'all too.
Thank you for the
Take care. Go Bills.
Appreciate you taking the time, literally from his workday, to come join us. So shout out to Drew Buckets, always bringing the community, the banter to this show. Stevie, I had two questions I wanted to ask you though while we were talking about the Bills offense. The first I'm going to ask you, because there's no one I trust more when it comes to receivers than you. I'm always of the mindset that when a receiver is on the field, not every play could go their way and stuff, but I'm a big believer that targets are earned, right? Like if you get the opportunity to be out there and you're doing your job and you're consistently getting open, the ball will find you. Do you agree with that line of thinking? Or as someone who's been out there and had to go through this and stuff, is that more just a perception of someone from the outside?
It depends on the personality of the receiver. You know, let's say you have a Terrell Owens. Now that perspective is real. You know, you want to give him 15 targets that game, 11 targets that game. If you have, you know, let's put me on the other side of that. If you have me, I'm not about to literally command the ball like that in a sense. I'm just like I'm gonna be present. But in the back of the quarterback's mind, it's on him to choose me. You know, and with a guy like T.O., his presence already, you got to get it to him. You know what I'm saying? Just once he step on the field. But, so, you know, it depends on the player that you have, you know, and that's right now what we're in.
Using you as an example, I know you wouldn't, especially when you were first coming into the league and stuff, like you wouldn't demand the ball, but you're getting open. And you would think, right, when the coaches and quarterbacks watch back the tape, they're going to be, oh, Stevie was open. Moving forward, I need to be on the lookout, because if he's getting open, he should be getting the ball. Like that, I don't think one game is enough, but I think over the course of a few games, a season, like if you're consistently getting open, I think teams and coaches should find that.
Yeah, and see, that's the blessing with me, because at that time I was doing things that wasn't being done now. So when I was doing those things and getting open, coaches weren't pointing me out, you know, so it was just being overlooked. And that's where I was having a hard time mentally. Like, what's up with the NFL? I thought it was whoever was better, you play them, you know, and I've been showing this and they're still not giving me the opportunities, you know. So, you know, that's where it goes to show that I had to learn another way to get in. So what was that? I went to the quarterback. You know, I was working with this guy named Ryan Fitzpatrick on a practice or on the scout team. And I'm like, hey, look, if you see this guy doing this, I'm always going to get him on the slant. I'm going to get him. You know what I'm saying? We start building a rapport. And that's where I learned, like, okay, you got to have a next level connection with these guys. And just so happened, Fitz ended up getting the opportunity with T.O. in Jacksonville. And what did he do? He didn't wait to see if T.O. was going to be open on the 1 yard line. He said, that's T.O. I'm about to let it rip. And he threw that thing and got one of T.O.'s longest touchdowns ever. So I wasn't even in at the time, you know, but just thankfully I was communicating with my guy during a tough time for me, trying to learn the game. And then I ended up getting the opportunity to play. And now that connection that I had with Fitz, when he would get a play and I'm on the opposite side or something, he already know how I'm going to get this curl route on this guy or be there for this delayed indie, you know, because we had that rapport, and that's the only reason why, you know. So it's a real fine line right now on guys like Keon's and Samuels and Eli, these new guys that's coming in with a new quarterback. I don't mean to be so long, but that brings me to when I was in San Francisco. You know, I ended up going to a new quarterback in Colin Kaepernick, who was all over the media. He was the guy. He just came off a Super Bowl, and I run different routes. So when I got to him, it was a point where I didn't want to be like, hey, you want to spend some time working on routes and stuff together, one-on-one? I didn't want to waste this time because, like, you got other things you're doing. You always being asked to do interviews, et cetera, et cetera. I've had all those thoughts. And I was just like, man, I'm back at the crib. I'm from San Francisco. I can't take no chances. So I'm going to just ask him, hey, Cap, you want to get some extra work in? Yeah, let's get it. And we was out there for like 2 hours. And man, I believe we had the highest completion percentage together there at that year. I just wasn't getting the volume targets, but it's cool because we had a bunch of other dogs, et cetera, et cetera. That's when it comes to play calling and then quarterback actually taking over. But other than that, that's what we need here. We need somebody to go tell Josh, hey, let's get this extra work in, or when you see this coverage, blah, 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 and that'll elevate the team fast.
I do think back to, I got to interview Taylor Heineke, former Commanders quarterback, one time, and he said, he was like, literally, when I am under pressure and stuff, I'm just like, where is Terry supposed to be? I'm going to throw the ball in his vicinity. And we're seeing that work with Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase. So yeah, I know part of it is on offensive scheme and quarterback and stuff, but when you have a dog like that, you could just trust them. And the Bills, they don't have that guy, but I do think they have guys who, if they gave some more opportunity, and maybe that's why mixing up the personnel this week and stuff. The other thing I wanted to ask you, Stevie, and this is just from me watching it, there are stats that back it up too, that the Bills O-line hasn't been as strong as it was last season. But watching the games, I'm seeing Josh leave clean pockets more than he has in the past. And what I'm seeing a lot of is him like try to spin, and then he's running into his own lineman or something like that. I'm not saying it's the O-lineman's fault 100%, but like, is there an O-line issue? Is there an issue with Josh's internal clock right now? Because it does seem like he's getting a little antsy a little bit quicker than he has in the past.
You know what? No, there's no O-line issues, because there's also a stat where the offensive line has held up for 3.5 plus seconds, which is one of the highest times in the pocket for a quarterback in any team. So with that being said, that means those guys are holding up. It's a collection of everything though. You got to get the ball out. The guys got to get open faster, or whatever it is. Whatever it is. It's not the O-line though. Yeah, nobody.
There was that play last week where Josh scrambles, then he goes back, and it was like legitimately 11 seconds he held the ball, and you could look at that in a couple of different ways, right? Like that's good O-line holding up. It's great pocket presence by Josh. I also look at it as like, it shouldn't take that long for someone to get open.
Yeah, and then when you look at that play, you could have got that ball out earlier. But he kept it going because it was a third and long, and so you don't want to get it out early to chip away, because then it'll turn into a fourth and long, considering where the options were open at. So it was just, that was bad play calling. Or I don't know what happened on second down to get in 3rd and 16, but he ended up making that long play happen and got a first down off of it.
Also, I don't know if you agree with this line of thinking, Stevie. I say shout out to Mike McDaniel, like trolling Bills fans after the game, driving by the Bills bar. Look, the victor goes to spoil, is my opinion. Like, he won, he earned the right to troll them. If he was doing it before the game and they lost, I would feel different. But he went out there, he won in dominant fashion. He earned the right to talk that day.
Yo, man, I love that. Like, I just feel like I played in the wrong time. I wish I didn't get these injuries, man, because it's so fun now. Like, we got teams, bantering back with each other, coaches pulling up on the other team's community bars. Like, that's what it's all about, man. Like this is what entertainment is, So elude all of the, our team is down right now. This is supposed to happen. The critique is supposed to happen, but at the end of the day, we're entertained, right? And that's what it's all about.
Look, I know Bills fans were unhappy about it. I know they were throwing the 3-14 against this team and stuff like that. But you know what? On that day, he was 1-0, so he earned it.
Right. I thought I saw a sweet victory cigar in his mouth too. He pulled up with one of the cigar mafias. Like, okay, he pulled up to the Bills Mafia bar with a sweet victory in his mouth.
Speaking of which, I saw you talking with Eric Wood this week, chopping it up with the Sweet Victory cigar. So
Yes. Big shout out to our guys, E Wood and my captain. And also, yeah, shout out to our guys at Cigar Mafia. That's the sponsors. And if y'all want to tap in and get more than cigars, www.cigarmafia.com and use code Stevie13 when you check out so that you can get your discount. You feel me? All right.
look, sometimes some weeks you get to smoke them to celebrate a Bills win. Some weeks you get to smoke it to take the edge off of a Bills loss. Either way, you could be celebrating with Sweet Victory every single Sunday. Stevie, speaking of Sunday, we have someone joining us who was going to be there covering this game. It is time for Mookie Vision. Appreciate you joining us as always, Mookie.
Don Mook, what's going on? How you feeling out there?
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
But so look, I want to get right to it though. Like you are there. You are in the mix. Like, are we going to see Gabe Davis?
It's a strong possibility that you can see Gabe Davis, especially with Coach McDermott ruling Dalton Kincaid out. So there is a strong possibility. I just don't know how, when the inactive list comes out, who's going to be on it now. You got Mecole Hardman, he can suit up as well. You got Gabe Davis, he can suit up as well. You got Federian Mathis, he's been ruled out as well. So maybe does Coach McDermott take those two spots and use them for Gabe Davis and Mecole Hardman and go more offensive, with this move here. We don't know. We won't know until by 10:30 Sunday morning on who's going to be suiting up or who's not, but it's a strong possibility. Then you got Josh Palmer, right? So it's going to be pretty interesting in that wide receiver group to see how many guys are active. And Stevie, I know you know all about that.
Yeah. And that brings me, before we go to what I was going to think about the receiver room, Federian, like, so is DQ back or?
DQ's back. DQ played last week. But they did pick up Fox from out of the Chargers. I like that move. I love the motor. I think it kind of resembles what Mike Hoyt gave you. So maybe you will see him. So it's a lot of things, a lot of things ready? Up in the air leading up to game time.
He's already been active, like running around.
Fox, he's been in practice, so it's a possibility that he can suit up and give it a go. So it's a lot of variables leading up to game time.
Okay,
Mookie, who do you like? I know we got to wait till Sunday to know who they're going with, but in your opinion, what is the Bills' best combination of receivers?
If you're going with, normally the Bills been 5-6 receivers. It's gonna be real tough. It's gonna be real interesting to see. You know what I mean? Like, they bench Keon Coleman. Is it a possibility that Keon Coleman gets benched here for Josh Palmer and Mecole Hardman and possibly Gabe Davis? Because you figure, like, you got Khalil Shakur, you got Samuel Moore.
You got to sit Samuel and Moore.
Shavers. You got Shavers.
Got to sit Shavers too. Samuel, Shavers. You got to sit them three and play Keon, Gabe. If Gabe don't go, then you can pull one of those three. I would say Elijah Moore, and then Khalil and Palmer. You got to play Palmer if he back $36 million. You got to be out there now if you're healthy, and you're a playmaker. He's solid. Yeah,
he definitely has to be out there. I would say Gabe Davis one more week. I wouldn't bring Gabe Davis on. I'll say Gabe. I say Gabe sits out this week, and you go with Josh Palmer because of the familiarity with the playbook. He's been out there with Josh. He's been out there with the other receivers, so that kind of meshes. And then you could just say, okay, where does Mecole Hardman fit in the sauce this week? Let's get him going, see what that would look like, and then we know what we got to do. We know what we already got in Gabe. But let's see what Mecole Hardman can bring to the table offensively for this group right away.
Yeah, I'm with that too. You got to play Mecole. There's no way that he should be sitting. He's got to play. You brought him in, and you got to use him, whether it's returns or in the passing game.
I kind of think he could be sneaky. Like Mac Hollins last year, no one expected much from when he first got there, but he has the skill set that the Bills are lacking right now.
Yeah, you being Mac, or are you talking about?
I'm talking Mecole. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think he could be like a surprise guy, kind of like Mac was last year.
Well, look, honestly, Mecole has the same skill set as Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel. It's just he comes with 3 rings in a lot of exposure. So when he is on the field, a guy like Josh or our coordinators will be like, all right, we got to try to get him some ooh-wop, you feel me? But guys like Elijah Moore and them, they've been putting in work on other teams, and they've been doing it humbly. You know, so they're getting here and they're doing the same thing here with those being open, but they're not saying anything to get those reps so that they can speak up more, you know? So I just feel like, you know, even like with the Waddle, with Rashid Shaheed before trade deadlines, like, yeah, they have the skill set. They are really good players, but do they have the presence for our quarterback to be like, all right, let me get it to this guy early because he is who he is. And those guys would have, I think, blended in. Mecole, not saying he's going to be the outspoken guy, but his accolades give him that presence already, and we'll see if it's utilized. If it's not, again, we go hear the same old. Let's bring in another guy. At the end of the day, you got to get AJ Brown in. He gonna tell it like.
AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson seems unhappy right now. DJ Moore, like there should be talent available at wide receiver this offseason.
Now, when you look at it though, when you really look at it, let's say for instance, look at the Bills, Green Bay, Philadelphia. All right. To me, the common denominator with those 3 teams and why their offenses are struggling is because of the lack of inexperience in the play caller. When you look at the offensive coordinators for those 3 teams, it's their first year ever being an offense, or their first time being an offensive coordinator with that team. You know, and I think kind of like that rears its ugly head. Those guys are not ascending, they're not evolving, and they're playing too safe. And, you know, it's like they're waiting. Like, you know, you play spades, you know, when you playing spades and people like to hold their spades at the end, I think that's what, you know, Brady and those guys is doing. You got to play your spades early, man.
Play it, yeah.
Run them trumps early. You know what I mean? That's how you control the game. You don't wait to the end to run your spades, to run your best players. You know what I mean? Because the game could be over. You know what I mean? You sitting up there with all these good cards in your hand, but you waiting to use them and you're not winning. So that's what I really looked at, why those offenses are struggling and not ascending, and they're getting out coached. So this is going to be another test for Brady going up against Bowles, who's his super duper official head coach, defensive coordinator. He's going to get a lot of heat sent this way. And, you know, I just think that, you know, it's really affecting Josh's play. Nobody want to say it, but it's really affecting his play. When you look at the turnover, you're turning the ball over in the inside the red. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in the past 3-5 games, Josh, you have really been the reason. You know what I mean? Nobody's saying that. They want to blame Keon Coleman. You know, Keon Coleman catch touchdowns, he make a big play, but he's the reason why the Bills lost the way they did. That's not fair to him.
I want to ask you guys this, because of that. Like, Josh hasn't looked like Josh from the past at all times. What we know, he has the talent and the capability. We've seen it for 6 years now. So is it the personnel? Is it the play calling? Is it a combination? Like, what has led to this happening?
I think it's a combination, and I think it hasn't ascended, it hasn't evolved, and now you see Josh playing in that mix, right? And I don't think it's a trust issue with Josh and his receivers. I think it's more or less of a confidence thing. I don't think he really has true confidence in what's being called this season. I don't know what happened drastically between last season and now. I just think that the confidence isn't there. I put a clip up where, you know, Josh had one read with Khalil Shakur wide open, get the ball out of your hands, didn't do it. Had Samuel on the slant wide open, didn't do it. Had a clean pocket and still checked it down to James Cook for a loss. For a loss. Yeah, he had a clean pocket. He wasn't being rushed or nothing. He just got the ball out of his hands, worked his progression, had 2 guys open, and chucked it down to James Cook for a TFL.
Right.
So
let's play off of that one, you know. And so I'm gonna be Josh. Now Josh is looking at his first one, who he should have already hit the first option, which is Khalil Shakir, right?
Right.
But then now you think if he don't want to choose that, maybe he want to hit somebody else. Khalil Shakir is not the type that's commanding the ball, because if that was somebody else, they'd be like, bro, you should have, you know what I mean? Or you go be accountable when I come back to huddle, like, why you didn't hit me on this? You go hear from it. You're not going to hear that from Khalil. All right, then he went to the middle, like, okay, let me hit over this. Then he seen it like it's Samuel. It's like Samuel, he go be present, but again, another guy that's not going to hold him accountable when he get back to the huddle. He just go back to do whatever he do. You know, so Josh goes off of that, and then he thinks that the other guy's there, but they beat him with coverage, you know, because he working behind here for Cook. But the coverage is back there on Cook. Then he just let it fly to Cook. And yeah, it was a bad play, but it's like that's why we need guys that's going to command the ball or hold everybody accountable. Stop being sensitive and you know what I mean?
Who needs to be that guy?
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good at making plays happen. You
know, well, Josh really needs to be that guy. I mean, somebody said it the other day, and I'm not sure who said it, but Josh, you got to be an asshole now. When you look at Tom Brady, you said that, right, Steve?
Yeah.
You got to be an asshole. Like when you look at Tom Brady, when you look at Peyton Manning, you see them going crazy on the sideline, letting everybody have it. You have to be an asshole.
Mahomes too. Yeah, if Mahomes don't do it, who else is doing it on the Chiefs? Kelsey is going to do it. He's going at the coach. You got to have that. You know what I'm saying? And now here's another thing. When Josh was like super comfortable and the offense was efficient, what years was those and what did he have with him? He either had a guy like that or he was so ambitious to be him that he was jumping over people every week. You feel me?
I do think that is what's missed with Diggs, right? Because Josh was fiery back then, but he still wasn't an asshole, just to say it. Diggs kind of was, right? Like Diggs would get in your face and like when Kelsey's doing that with Andy Reid on the sideline, it always becomes a big story and fans are like, all right. And I'm always like, that's good, right? Like I don't want kumbaya when things aren't going well. When you're winning the Super Bowl, you guys could be hugging and kissing and doing everything. But when you're out there losing and the plays aren't going your way, you kind of need a kick in the ass sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. That part right there.
It is going to happen because if they don't do well against Tampa Bay, pressure bust pipes. And I think Josh is just ready to explode. He's being probably the ultimate professional right now in regards, but I think he is ready to explode verbally. And it's just a matter of time.
I kind of want that. Yeah, I want him to crash out a bit.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a crash out in public. You can still be that cool cucumber that you are, but then you got to do it inside the locker room or in a facility, in the film room at some point. You know, maybe we'll hear a whisper of a player on the roster that said, hey, yeah, Josh kind of got at us and let them be the one to speak that out. You know, you don't have to literally show it because that's really not the type of guy he is, you know? So
I do miss seeing him like screaming on the sidelines and stuff. Like we don't get that much right now.
That's when you got that energy from a Diggs, another dog that's like that.
Or a coordinator. He was fiery when Dable.
Or the coordinator. Yeah,
that too.
Last time you see him going crazy on the sideline, Dable was the play caller. Mm-hmm. Now everybody is his friend. I
think Dable should be in Buffalo right now. Like I'm not saying make him the OC, but make him an advisor or something, because the pass game was at its best when he was in Buffalo.
Of course, he was the seasoned vet. He was the alpha male. You know, he was the alpha on the offense. McDermott was the alpha on the defense. And you know, some reason that clashed, and you know, here we are. But that's definitely been lacking since Dable's been gone. This team has really been on the downward spiral slowly since Dable has not been in the building. Yeah, he's available, and I mean, if McDermott could, you know, push emotions or whatever the case may be, if both of them, because it takes two to tango, right? So if they both could come to agreement and say, hey, let's try to get this thing right the way we're supposed to do it. Let's finish what we started, at least this year on the rest of the year rental. You know, let's do that for the sake of for what we built, because Dable still built these pieces together, right? You know, so let him try to help fix it, whatever the case may be, because Joe Brady is not going to help Josh Allen evolve into the quarterback he needs to be because he don't have the experience. Josh Allen is going into his 8th season right now. Joe Brady's only been a play caller for 3.
Right.
So it don't make sense. Like how can he help Josh in situations? How can he coach Josh out of situations when we're down to a team that we should be winning? You know, he's ultra conservative, and guess what? Josh is taking that nature. He's conservative because he's not being vocal. He's just on the sideline being quiet, not saying anything.
Man,
I don't know
this
if
is
you
one of
guys
those drive, man.
I don't know if you guys agree with this, right? I get it that you can't have 18 turnovers like he did in the Ken Dorsey season, but the ideal turnover rate is not 0. I don't want Josh Allen trying to take care of the ball at all times. I want him taking some risk because he is good enough to make that special play more often than not. But if you take that out of him, then you're taking away what makes him special, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, yeah, and who cares about the turnovers? Me personally, I don't even care about it. Like when you look at those 3 turnovers the Bills had, again, 2 of them was forced by a guy stripping the ball out on positive plays, and then the third one should have been a touchdown either to the right if you're just looking at your guy Keon, or if Dawson Knox knew the blitz was right there and just turned inside for the easy slant, which Josh was preparing to run. He literally threw that, I felt purposefully, like, come on now. You go see this all week and, like, you got to be better. That's how good he is. He's so in advance like that. He did that, you know, and, you know, but you know, it's being called. Everybody understands that he just got to take the reins on things. Because maybe Dawson Knox didn't know that. He wasn't taught that. In with the QB being able to see that blitz possibility happening, those guys kind of on their toes. Hey, 88, make sure you give me the eyes. You see this. You know what I mean? You can still say those. I didn't see none of that.
But you being too nice in it. You being too nice in a situation where we got to score here.
Yes.
Now we don't get no points. We don't even get 3. Right. We don't get 3. You know what I mean? Jim Kelly would have barked at Metzelaars and McKellar back in those days for doing some stuff like that. Dan Marino barking if you went where you supposed to be. Dawson Knox, you a 7-year veteran.
Yeah.
No
and
way that
paid.
Josh Allen is off key. There's no way. So it's either the play design or, you know, Josh, you just went where you wanted to go with the football, and you made a bad decision. And this is twice you did it inside the red zone for an 8-year veteran. That's an ultimate no. You got to protect the football. You just can't just be throwing it. Are you throwing it because that's your friend, or you? I just don't have no understanding to some of the turnovers that Josh Allen be doing. They be some definite head scratchers.
Yeah.
You know, so I just, that got to calm down, and they don't play aggressive, and that's just not Brady's scheme. You got an aggressive quarterback that likes to run the ball with a bazooka arm, and you're dinking and dunking down the field. You're not taking no shots. You're going to blame the receivers. Everything is schemed for the tight end. I can't wait to see what Joe Brady got schemed this week. No Kincaid. So are we going to make Dawson Knox the focal point of the target share this week? Or are we going to focus somewhere else? He's going to go with 2 tight ends. You're not going to bring a 3rd tight end and do whatever the case. You got to get your receivers involved this week because you're shorthanded at the tight end spot. So you mean to tell me now we're going to make Dawson Knox, you know, whose birthday is today? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Dawson. But are we going to make him the focal point of the target share going into Tampa Bay, tight end number 2, you know, instead of getting your receivers involved? You know, because we're going to see a lot of blitzing coming from Bose, and you know their defense isn't shabby at all.
Yeah, I mean our offense is versatile enough for the receivers that we have to still run those tight end routes. It's a simple basic, which is 12-yard in, or running the corner route, or running the drag route, or running the pop block and then go to the flat. That stuff is not difficult. I think the coordinators are making it more difficult than what it is. And the thing with Josh can tell his guy, hey, I want you to run this basic. If you want to utilize your tight ends and do the dink and dunk game, all you got to do is pop in film of Tom Brady and the New England Patriots for an entire week, and you will see how he utilized his energy, his body language to get people on the heel and dink and dunk until he popped you with Gronkowski over the middle, deep down the sideline. You know what I'm saying? You see how he give it. Obviously, it's Randy Moss, but it was other guy. Brandon Lloyd was there killing them on the outside because they had that presence, and then Tom knows I'm gonna get it to those guys out there. So you know it's simple fixes for a guy like Josh Allen, especially with the tools that we have. Hey,
and they ain't had no true number 1. They ain't had no Stevie Johnson out there. They went in Super Bowls. So you can't sit up here and tell me that we need a receiver that can get separation out of it's the scheme. And we want to find out this week when Mecole Hardman is out there and he gets one target, one catch. That's what's going to be hit. You know what I mean? Right. One target, one catch. It's going to be a bomb, and and that's it. You know what I mean? If you sit up there and you bring in Mecole Hardman and make him the bulk of the target share, I'm gonna have a problem with that too. I'm gonna really have a problem with that.
This was going to be our Why So Serious segment topic. Stevie, I don't know if you still want to hit it or not, but it's play calling, right? And so you're both right here saying it's the scheme and stuff. For everyone watching, what would you change or want to see different in this scheme?
Okay, well, Shane, hit it.
Why so serious?
Yeah, what I would change is I would tell Josh Allen, here's your plays, and go to the line and do whatever you want with that. I don't have control over you. Once you break that huddle, do what you want. I feel like there's still too much control being overseen in that offense when they break the huddle. Josh, take it serious. Take it serious now, Get on your players, change plays up. Call hitches. I haven't seen a hitch all season. You got to do it. It's on Josh to do this. So for my why so serious is for the coordinator to not be so serious and let Josh take over the play calling once they break that huddle.
To Mookie's point, you would think a third-year play caller would give an 8-year MVP vet quarterback control to do that in the offense.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Me personally, I'm emptying out the clip. I'm going 5 wide. I'm going duo over here with James Cook and Keon Coleman. And then I got Khalil Shakur, Mecole Hardman, Josh Palmer over there in the trip side. Josh, do your thug thizzle.
Do your thizzle, man. Do your thizzle.
One thing for me is I think it's far too many passes that are at or behind like the line of scrimmage. Like I get it. Yak is a huge part of this offense, but when you have Josh Allen, the entire ship shouldn't be built on Yak. And I feel like, man, like every pass design is just, it's as quick as can be. And look, I get it. Sometimes that works. But like, we're seeing that Josh still, like that 11-second play the other day, we saw that Josh can still play make. So like you give him an opportunity. Let's get the vertical stuff going more. And that's my big, but the thing is, can they do that? Like we're 9 games in and we're still talking about can they do it?
Because they got to master the underneath. I'm just going to say Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. They never said Tom Brady was bad when he was hitting his guy Welker, commanding him to get that ball and get upfield, and he accepted that and wanted that role. They wasn't saying none of that with all the underneath pass that he was getting. When he got his running backs involved, hey, Falk, if I get you the ball, bro, I need you to get me 3 to 4 yards. Like, he's not just saying, okay, I hope you can get it 3 to 4 yards or you might get the ball. No, when we break in the huddle, hey, you be prepared because I'm gonna cut it and I'm gonna get it to you. I'm pretty sure that's what Tom Brady was doing. He's not waiting to see what's going to happen. He's ultimately predicting what's going to happen and making sure y'all ready that it's going to happen. And if it don't, you might get talked at, but that's a part of the game. We all warriors. I don't see that part being shown with our Buffalo Bills right now. And we'll see this upcoming game because it is a must win. I've been hearing that a lot lately. Is this a must win? Should we say it? Yes, it is a must win. If they don't win this game, they go get the heat that they deserve.
Ooh, you lay an egg at home in the must win situation. If you come out and play the same way you played against Miami, and okay, thank God Irvin isn't playing.
Yeah.
But if Rachaad White goes for 100 yards, that's a problem. That's a major problem if Rachaad White goes for 100 yards. And then all of a sudden we can't stop, Mbuka. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a major issue if the Bills at home lay an egg and we're not scoring points and we can't throw the ball downfield. And you mentioned New England. We talking about Josh McDaniel and Bill Belichick right now. You know what I'm saying? And then when they got tired of the dink and dunk, they went and got Randy Moss.
Then they went and got Moss.
You know what I'm saying? And so we're not doing that over a one Bills line right now. All right.
Hey,
so
yeah, got you.
Had to be a little bit more creative with his play design to throw the ball down the field and expose the arm talent that Josh Allen has. Because right now his long ball accuracy is off. He had Keon Coleman down the sideline and threw it like he was throwing back shoulders still. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you got a guy with so much arm talent?
Yeah, 3 big, monstrous games.
You know, just not using the arm talent and just throwing Josh off. Like, be creative. I remember back in the days, they used to roll John Elway out to the right. He'd throw that bomb left to, you know what I mean, to the three amigos just running down the sideline wide open. Why are we not doing those plays with Josh Allen? Why are we not rolling Josh out to the left and throw back right? You know, he has the arm talent to do it.
Especially with a Palmer, too. Palmer knows how to set guys up at the line and use that burst and that speed and that length that he got. But, yeah, it's got to be schemed. Those plays got to be schemed up and at the right time, you know. They just sitting back there 7-step dropping, thinking they can do all 4 verticals. This is not Madden, my guy, you know, unless you want to use audibles and tell your guy, hey, if you see them playing off, then I want you to stop that vertical at 8, and I'm going to get it to you. Then you can play Madden like that, but it's not being done, you know. Don, you were saying something?
I'll tell you one thing I don't want to see tomorrow. I bet not see McCole Harmon get a jet sweep.
We're all over jet sweeps. We are all over that.
Hey, Mook, you got to give us 13 push-ups if Nicole get a jet sweep. If he don't, then I'm going to give you the push-ups. Hey, look, speaking of those coaching calls, hey, look, we was talking about the defense, though, and our offense. Even though, like, they gave up a lot of rushing yards and things, they also match turnovers. So they somehow get the ball back or get opportunities to get the ball back. And that's a good sign because, you know, now I'm talking about the coaching side. We got the early turnover, and then we got to a 4th and 1.
And punted.
We punted the ball. So now we was talking a lot about Josh taking lead and taking, you know, but at that situation early in the game after getting a turnover, I feel like you must go for it on the road. You know, you can't punt it. It's like you faltering. What was y'all thoughts on that part with coach's decision?
I hated the punt. You have James Cook, you have Josh Allen, like it's 4th and 1. I think the thinking though was, and I don't think the Bills want to admit it, I think they all took the Dolphins lightly. Like I think they were coming off that big win against the Chiefs. McDermott and Josh have dominated the Dolphins in their career. I think they just came in and took them a little lightly.
Man, I mean, but this is the NFL. You should not be playing down to the level of your competition, especially when it's in your own division, you know, and it's not like that they, you know, you've really been blowing them out. They've been in dogfights with you throughout that whole course of it. But, I mean, 4th and 1, you don't go for it, but you went for it against Kansas City, 4th and 2, like on your own 45 a week ago. And, like, where's the creativity? Like, we just got a tush push. And if you don't get the tush push, then that's it. Like, where's the setup play off the tush push? You've been doing the tush push for 2 years,
and it's left every time.
Every time.
Big media, you know what I mean? You got to ride that energy. Utilize those weapons. You know, that's how you get.
But when you fake that and do an end around, or when do you fake that and throw seam to the tight end? No element of surprise with this play calling that's happening here. 4th and 1, just go empty and let Josh run and pick his hole.
Yeah.
Like, how was so hard to get 1 yard when you got Josh Allen, man? Overcoaching and very conservative, very basic and predictable, and you lose games that way.
I did want to. So, Mookie, you were talking about Rachaad White. I want Bills fans just to know the name Sean Tucker. He is the more explosive runner there of the two. Watch out for him this Sunday. But I wanted to ask you guys because Bills fans wanted a wide receiver, right? They wanted Jalen Waddle. A.J. Brown seems like the dream right now for this offseason. But would that be the cure-all for this? Or with it being this play calling, do you think the Bills would still struggle to get the ball downfield?
If we had A.J. Brown?
Or Waddle or one of these wide receiver ones?
Not Waddle. A.J. Brown, yeah, because look at what he's doing, and they won the Super Bowl. You know, he see more. He see exactly where – imagine A.J. Brown with being Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like, or Josh Allen with A.J. Brown's mindset. Like, nah, yeah, we won a Super Bowl. I won MVP, but we need more. We need to be better than this, you know? That's not bad. I don't see that as being bad because he see more in his team.
But if they gave up a first for Waddle, you don't think that would have
No, I
solved
mean,
this?
I think I would do it because you added more, you know what I mean, more weapons, more players that you know, as opposed to getting the draft pick and you don't even know who the draft pick will be. So yeah, I would do it if an opportunity presented itself. But do I think that that's going to help our team? I don't think that Waddle would help our team, and he'd probably get 2 catches.
Yeah. And then he get 2 catches, and then how much money he already got a big contract.
It won't say a word. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna
So
say a word.
we're gonna carry all these receivers with this money, with the, getting paid all this money. And I said it. I think I said it a couple of days ago. The money in the scheme ain't matching.
Yeah.
So like, why we gotta? It's just like even when Dorsey was here, right? Oh, I need 12 personnel to get my system running. Dorsey ain't here, and we stuck with his remnants of players with these contracts that we can't get rid of. But we need a number 1 receiver now. You got rid of Diggs because he was opinionated and held people accountable. Then like how he voiced his opinion. But that's what you need on the sideline. I don't know, like we can't be nice and win the Super Bowl. It gotta be the leaders that you pointing to be leaders. Got to hold everybody accountable, including the quarterback if he's not playing well. Right. Everybody's got to be held to a standard, a certain level when it comes to winning ball games and playing at a maximum level when you're a Super Bowl contender. All that other stuff missed me with that. It just sounds too much like right. And, I guess they don't want nobody barking at them. Me, I don't know. They probably won't even like me on the sideline because I'm going to cuss you out as a coach. I'm going to get on your ass when you mess up, and I don't care who you are. You could be the first man or you could be the last man on the roster. I'm going to bark at you the same. I'm going to coach you up and all that stuff. And I think that, I don't know if it's accountability piece that, they just want to be too nice with it, but you can't be nice and play football. Yes. You got to have some dog. You got to have some grit. You got to play with a level of nastiness, and that's just not happening, right now with this team.
The reason I asked though is because Bean has been under fire by Bills Mafia, and I've thrown some fuel on that fire, but the last week the narrative has changed from personnel to play calling, so I'm kind of trying to figure out what it. And again, Stevie's been on this for longer than anyone calling out the play calling.
Yeah, it's both.
It's both. Whenever you got a guy like Curtis Samuel who's dynamic, why you don't have Curtis Samuel and James Cook in the backfield and 20 personnel? Just to see what look you're gonna get. Run Curtis Samuel in motion. That's your read right there. If the guy ain't coming, now I got RPO with James Cook. Oh, Josh Allen, we can run QB power off that too. It's so many different ways you can do that just on personnel grouping. You know what I mean? Put your 2 fast guys and run a mesh concept. Like we're not putting the pieces out there. We're not moving guys around to make plays. We're too basic.
That's how you can be creative in your offense. What we're seeing is a coach put in on the backside, post, corner, post, as opposed to just putting a simple 18-yard comeback to give that same timing. And then, they're thinking that, we're being creative because we can control what's being done on backside while we're looking on the front side. That's not being creative. That's being more controlling, If you want to be creative, like Don Mook was saying, put Samuel in the backfield and Cook in the backfield. That simple thing right there is going to give you, okay, who they coming out with. Now you just motion him off, and now you can see so much. You can help Josh out so much more as opposed to calling this play over here, this cool design play, and then having post corner on the backside just in case this doesn't work. You should be timed up just right for that. Nah, man, that's crap. That's crap right there,
Yeah. Right. Keon should be in the big slot this week, especially with no Kincaid. So, who's going to be the big slot? Put Keon at the big slot. Let Palmer work the outside. Yeah. Palmer supposed to be your separation guy. We keep on talking about Keon Coleman. You knew at the combine that he wasn't going to get no separation. They said that at the combine about that. So why are we talking about it 2 years from now?
He can beat Dalton Kincaid.
Right.
He's 6'4", 6'5". You know what I mean? He's your hybrid receiver tight end guy.
Mm-hmm. But you got Josh Palmer that you paid $12.5 million to do that. He's not doing it. He's not doing that. So I don't want to put the flack on Josh Palmer because we know what he can do, right? But it's the like we talked about before, it's the play calling, the personnel, and the play design is what's lacking, with the weapons that they have. They have the weapons. He just don't know how to use them and put them together at the right time. He take James Cook out. You take your best weapon out on 34th down.
Should Bills fans be hoping for change this offseason? Like, or is that still to be determined?
Just this game. This game, like put Josh Palmer at the X and let him do everything they need to do at the X. Put Keon at that Dalton Kincaid, that big slot position, along with Khalil close to him if needed. And then you can have whoever else outside motioning in or being in the backfield. You know what I mean? Or cook extra stuff. That's easy. But
As you guys are talking, I'm like, all right, you put Kincaid in the big slot. You could put Palmer at the Y where they like to play him. That leaves the X open for Gabe Davis or Miko. Like, one of these guys got to step up.
Well, yeah, but that's the
give him an opportunity is more
they've been putting Keon. What I've seen last game, Keon has been playing the X. However, is not being commanded to get the volume over there. Which if you can just get the volume over there, that can help open up a lot of other things. So I'm saying put Josh there because Josh is the new guy and he has averaged 16 yards per catch at this point. So he's going to command that attention from Josh right now. And put Keon back into the Z, the more controlled offensive side, and let Palmer be the veteran receiver right now. Or if you say it like Gabe Davis, but he might have another week. Or Mecole Hardman. He can play both sides. Elijah, any of them guys can really play it. You just got to give them the freaking opportunities, though.
Now, Mecole Hardman gets out here and then somehow doesn't get open. Don't get open.
Wait to watch this game. This is going to be a good one.
If he don't get open, then what we talking about? We know the speed that he possesses. Ain't no nickname in his speed. He don't get open this week. What we talking about? That he can't get open? We need a number one receiver because now Mecole Hardman can't get open?
Right.
No, it's the scheme. They know what the receivers are running, so it don't matter. So we're going to see how creative this offense is going to be and explosive they're going to be with an explosive player now. You got an explosive player. Yeah.
Call him up. Just call him.
I heard he was at Lucia's last week. The other day.
Brady's too run heavy. Dable was too pass heavy. Maybe we get them together and it's the perfect marriage,
That's it right there.
I'm with that.
Mookie, I did want to ask you one last thing before we let you go, though. The Bills are getting healthy on defense. And to me, the most interesting position this week is linebacker. How do you think that looks with Milano, Bernard, Williams, and Thompson potentially all active?
Man, I'm being a dog. I'm starting Dorian Williams and Thompson, man. I'm putting Milano and Terrell Bernard on the sideline. I love them too, but y'all not getting it done. Those boys was balling those past couple of weeks when Medard and those guys is out. Deion Walker, those guys come back and they just sit the bench, and then your defense ain't the same. You know what I mean? You got two dogs in Dorian Williams and Shaq Thompson that's shutting down the run, and Deion Walker is raising hell up front. And you take them out and put Daquan Jones in and bring in Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard because you're paying them all that damn money.
Right.
And they gotta play. But
use your roster.
They ain't got the feel of the flow of the game. They not hot right now.
And that doesn't even mean don't play them the whole game. When Dorian and Shaq get tired or throw them boys in. That's how you utilize veterans. These guys, Milano and Terrell Bernard, they play like freaking monsters in their undersized and how they attack fullbacks, how they attack when they see the ball. Like they're heat seekers. So they're going to break down. So you can't continue to play those guys 1,000 snaps. You got to let the young boys come here and eat. You know what I mean?
That's the other thing. Like, you have depth, utilize it. Don't save it for when players are hurt. Like, use it so that the players don't get hurt.
Right. Protect them for themselves because we're going to need this the second half of the season. Now, we can't afford anybody going down. So you want to keep those guys as fresh as possible. And then when the playoffs come, all right, now take the leash off a little bit and let them run around and mark their territory. But for now, for those past couple of weeks, Shaq Thompson, Dorian Williams been holding things down, and Deion Walker has been ascending as a rookie defensive tackle. Let them continue to cook on that defense. Don't stunt their growth and take them out because your starters are back, right? So we didn't hear Milano name last week. We didn't hear Terrell Bernard name last week.
Only when HM was running past them.
170.
And we didn't give Joe Andreessen any chance, a guy who's, he's from the area. Let him go out there and try to be the spark. He's super healthy. We don't only want to hear about Buffalo Joe in preseason. Like, I think they comfortable with that stuff. Like, let that boy play. Let him cook.
get a bigger linebacker. Our linebackers are a little bit undersized, and they
All
can't get off blocks when those guys go upstairs and get their hands on them.
Yearly.
It's just, we need, I hate to say it, I like Isaiah Simmons. I don't know what's the knock on this kid. He was a star coming out of Clemson. I just think he was just on some bad teams, and they just don't know how to unlock his potential. 6'4", 241, or 4'4", played safety for you. So I know he can cover for you. You know what I mean? And I know that he has the measurables to get off blocks and make plays. I mean, I would give him a shot on the practice squad and see what we can do with a former top 10 pick. Maybe we can unlock, his boxes. We ain't got no money to bring in no big time bona fide linebacker. We just don't have the money. But a guy like that, I would worth taking a look at on our practice squad.
I want Deion Walker getting snaps by any means necessary. Like, he's been so good this year, and he's young, he's huge. Like, he's a bright spot, and you sit him. I don't get it.
Yeah, you sit him and put Daquan Jones in, and it's not working. He's getting pushed around. I mean, last year he only had 12 tackles and 2 sacks the entire year. Paying him $8 million.
Yeah. Why? Much. Hey, wait, move before you go. You had a championship game.
Ooh.
Talk to me.
Woo. We got took to the shed.
No.
We got took to the shed. We got took to the shed, boy. They came punched us in the mouth, and everything that happened went wrong. I mean, everything. I'm still waiting for our team to play. It's a whole nother day.
Wow. Hey, just like that. Hey, they got their lights cut out.
The timing could not have been better.
I'm still waiting on us to play, but yeah, our season is done, man. Undefeated all season long, and we beat this team by 25 points 4 weeks ago. So they came back, and wanted to get their lick back, and they weren't playing around. In the best games, you got to bring your A game. We didn't bring our A game, man, and they did what they supposed to do. So shout out to the McKinley, the Max. They definitely smacked us around a little bit. But I want to say another thing. Shout out to my boy D Dawkins getting to the key to the city.
Hey, shout out to the snowman.
Yeah, shout out to him, man.
Yeah, he's a heck of an ambassador everywhere you go. He's a bright spot, and he's a forward thinker. He's not only doing it for self, he's doing it for all linemen. With the award that he had presented. The off-field things that he's done. I mean, the dude's a Hall of Famer. So I'm glad that we got Deion, and that's a big shout out. Got to keep on showing love to the community in Buffalo, man. And hey, Mook, where can we see any of those clips, any of your games?
Of high school games?
Yeah, you guys got it like a social or a YouTube?
Yeah, you can go to Health Science, Health Science Charter. I could put some clips up. We got some dogs. We just was in the kennel yesterday. I don't know what the hell happened, but yeah, we definitely got some talent. You already know.
Yeah. Congrats on your season, though, Don Mook.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And thank you for your time, my brother.
Stevie, before we say goodbye to the people, what is your final prediction for this Sunday?
Oh, we about to take care of business easy. Yeah, I think it's gonna be easy considering Bucky Irvin is extremely doubtful to play.
I think he got ruled out while we were recording.
Ruled out now. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you got to be able to sustain drives, and for a hot weather team and the Bucks, even though they are fiery with Baker Mayfield, I feel like coming into Buffalo is going to be a rude awakening with that temperature, and with them not being able to run the ball. I think our Buffalo Bills go run rampant on them on the defensive side and on the offensive side.
I think it'll be a little bit higher scoring. I'm thinking something like 30-21 in that range. Like the Bucks with Baker are always going to be feisty. And I did see the comment. We spoke some fantasy already earlier. I'm not scared of the matchup. I'm playing Drew this week. Me, Stevie, and Drew all sitting at 5-5 right now. Most of the league is 5-5. So we're all still right in the thick of the playoff hunt. It's going to be a fun final 4-week stretch in the league before the playoffs get going. And Stevie, we need you to write this ship.
I know. I am putting Keenan in right now, so he about to write it.
Okay.
But yeah, hey, big shout out to our chat. Yeah, Tolly, shout out to you. Shout out to JG tapping in early, staying locked in, man. It's love in the Banter community, man. Keep on representing for us.
And Stevie, real quick, shout out to your boy Keenan. He set the Chargers franchise catch record last week, beat Antonio Gates, 2 legends there. I know that's your guy. You've been backing him all year and for years now. So shout out. That was a big accomplishment.
Yeah, again, that'd be a good guy to grab. I've been saying that for 3 years. Go grab Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is one of those guys that can be wherever you need him. He can get the volume if needed. At this point, he ain't, doing the volume, but we have an excellent roster that if you bring in a guy like Keenan, he's not going to be the A.J. Brown, get in the media and talk like that to you, but he will command the ball. He knows how to talk to a quarterback. He knows how to, infiltrate the system how it needs to be done so that you can get positive plays and efficiency out of an offense. And you see it with him being having the most catch or passing Gates with catches in San Diego Charger history. That's iconic from a young guy like Keenan Allen.
I will say I would gladly take Keenan in Buffalo, but there's certain players that just look better in certain colors, and Keenan looks best in the baby blue and gold. That he will always be a Charger forever.
But could you imagine the Allen and Allen connection? We already got a Josh and Josh that need to go ahead and be done, but it's like, hey, Allen and Allen, you rep the last name though.
I wanted him when he actually played for a different team last year. I was like, that he would have been a great fit.
Would have been perfect. And again, I've been saying that for years. I don't just say this stuff. I'm not frustrated at our Bills or none of that. You know what I mean? I love the Buffalo Bills, and I literally see what can be done to elevate and boost. So I say certain things. Sometimes I just try to keep it cool and super positive and optimistic. But at this point, when you're seeing all these teams getting Super Bowls and their roster isn't as good as ours, and then you see the critiques going around on certain players, and that can be messing up people's money. That can even mess up people's roster spots and being in these locations. And that's when I feel like I gotta say something with my presence because, I'm talking about a Keon right now, and there's a lot of people putting a lot of heat on the guy. Again, he is the 5th or 6th option. Let's break that down. You got to get Cook the ball. You got to get Kincaid the ball. You got to get Khalil the ball. You got to have Josh do whatever he want to do with the ball. Then he's going to go. He showed last week. You got Keon out there. You still getting Dawson Knox the ball more. So that's 5 people already. So now you're saying, oh, Keon's not doing his part, but he's the 6th option. You know what I mean? He's the must outside release guy, and then the play break down, and you saying he's not running hard or he didn't make the play downfield. Like, come on now, you can't do that. You can't do that, media. You can't do that. And I'm just here to set it straight.
Drew said Allen and Allen sounds like a law firm. The bigger question would be if they had Keenan, Gabe Davis, and you, Stevie. Who's coming out wearing number 13?
Man, look, it don't even matter. Look, it don't even matter. I can wear any number. You feel me? And I'm gonna make that thing hot. So that's gonna be them to be competing and battling over. You feel me? I got 13 because the guy who. So I'm in Kentucky, and they like, hey, what number you want to get, Stevie? We got 80s, 80 this, 80 that, blah blah blah. And he said, oh, we also got this 13, but nobody really. Man, I want the 13 because since you think it's unlucky, I want to be the unlucky 13, and I rock that thing. There's other reasons too, but I grabbed that thing and it is what it is. I would have made any number fire.
So, little trivia question, I guess, for our listeners. Outside of 13, Stevie wore one other number in the NFL. Do you think our listeners know this or not?
Yes, leave it in the comment, man. Some of them don't though, because I got some jerseys with my other number, and they still put my Bills number on it.
Was that because Keenan was wearing 13 at the time, or?
When I went to San Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So Keenan had 13, and I wanted to wear number 11, 1 of 1. I wanted to rock that, and I thought that was cool. And then numbers didn't really matter to me like that. It has a good presence, it has a good meaning, but it's not like, hey, I'm coming to this team, you got to give me that number. It was never nothing like that, though.
I think they make them buy, like if a player changes numbers on the fly, they make them like buy Drew got it. He said 11. But dude, on the Colts the other day, they traded for Sauce Gardner. Josh Downs is just like, all right, you're number 1 now. Like he just gave it up. Veterans, I feel like, get a lot more number presence now than maybe back in the day.
Yeah, that's just respect. You know what I mean? That's respect. And Sauce may not have cared. Maybe he did. Maybe it's something special, more special to Sauce than it is to him. You never know. But that's the bond that you can see early. That's cool between the Colts. There's no heat at all. I think that's respect.
Yeah, and speaking of respect, ton for you, ton for our listeners, for Mookie, for Drew. Really appreciate everyone working with us this week, joining us on a Friday morning. Stevie, next Thursday, we will be live, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Bills are Thursday Night Football. We will be your pregame show next week. Please, Bills Mafia, come join us. We'll banter and we'll get ready for a little TNF action.
Yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for your time. This has been Bills Banter on the Sick Podcast. One love and go Bills for life, baby.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Bills Banter on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.